Flowers. At first glance, they might seem like simple elements of nature, something beautiful to gaze upon, smell, or give as a gift. But beyond their vibrant colors and delicate petals lies a language, an intricate form of communication that transcends words. Welcome to the world of florography, or the language of flowers. For centuries, flowers have conveyed messages of love, sorrow, friendship, and even political allegiances. Today, we'll explore the rich history of florography, its origins, evolution, cultural significance, and how it continues to influence us in the modern world. The concept of using flowers to convey meaning dates back to ancient civilizations. In ancient Egypt, flowers were more than just decorative. They were deeply symbolic and were closely tied to the spiritual and religious beliefs of the time. The lotus flower was of particular importance, symbolizing rebirth and the sun. This deep connection between flowers and the spiritual world was shared by many cultures, including the Greeks and Romans. For example, in Greek mythology, the rose was sacred to Venus, the goddess of love, while the lily represented purity and motherhood. These early examples show that flowers weren't just ornamental. They carried meaning messages that could transcend the limitations of human speech, often linking the divine to the mortal world. One of the most important periods for the development of florography occurred during the Ottoman Empire, particularly during the tulip era in the 16th and 17th centuries. During this time, the tulip became a symbol of wealth, power, and sophistication. These flowers were not only used in art and gardens, but were also exchanged as diplomatic gifts between the Ottoman sultans and European monarchs, establishing a tradition of using flowers as symbols of political and personal expression. The tulip era was a period of cultural flourishing for the Ottomans, and the tulip itself became a symbol of both beauty and influence. The luxury surrounding tulips inspired what became known as tulip mania, a craze that spread across Europe where tulips were highly coveted for their beauty and rarity. However, it wasn't until the Victorian era that florography reached its fullest expression. In the strict social codes of Victorian England, the spoken word could be too bold, too open. So flowers became a subtle and acceptable way to convey complex emotions. During this period, flower meanings were meticulously cataloged in dictionaries, and giving a bouquet became a highly calculated act. Each flower, each color, had its own message. A red rose symbolized love, while a yellow rose signified jealousy or friendship. A white rose represented purity, while violets conveyed modesty and humility. Flowers became messengers for lovers, family members, and friends. The language of flowers allowed people to communicate messages of romance, a longing, and even rejection, all without speaking a single word. Florography in the Victorian era wasn't confined to just romantic relationships. It also played a role in social interactions, allowing individuals to convey their status, sincerity, or even intentions toward another person. Flowers and their meanings transcend European history. In fact, florography has been woven into the fabric of many cultural and religious traditions around the world. In China, for instance, the peony was known as the king of flowers, symbolizing wealth, prosperity, and good fortune. It was considered a flower of nobility and honor, often depicted in art and embroidered on textiles to express nobility and high status. Similarly, in Japan, the cherry blossom, or sakura, holds significant cultural meaning. These delicate blossoms bloom for only a short time each spring, symbolizing the transience of life, a central theme in Japanese philosophy. The cherry blossom represents beauty and ephemeral nature, reminding people to appreciate the fleeting moments of life. In Mexico, marigolds take on a unique significance during Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. These vibrant flowers are used to decorate altars and graves, symbolizing the connection between the living and the deceased. The marigold, with its strong scent and bright color, is said to guide the spirits back to the world of the living. Despite its prominence in earlier centuries, the language of flowers began to fade with the rise of more direct forms of communication and modern technologies. The Victorian-era tradition of giving flowers with specific meanings gave way to a more casual approach to flower giving, especially in the 20th century. With the advent of telegrams, phones, and eventually text messages, the need for such an elaborate system of communication through flowers waned. However, florography didn't entirely disappear. It simply evolved. Today, flowers continue to hold meaning in our lives. While we might not rely on a coded language of flowers, certain blooms still convey deep emotions and sentiments. For example, roses remain central to expressions of love, lilies are often associated with funerals, and sunflowers still convey happiness and warmth. Interestingly, in the digital age, we've seen a revival of the language of flowers, especially through flower emojis. A rose emoji still speaks of love, while a sunflower emoji communicates joy and positivity. This modern twist on florography demonstrates how this ancient language continues to adapt to our changing times. Let's take a deeper look at some of the most well-known flowers and their meanings, which continue to carry cultural and emotional weight even today. One of the most iconic flowers is the rose. Across the world, the red rose is synonymous with romantic love, passion, and desire. It remains one of the most popular flowers to give on Valentine's Day or anniversaries. But did you know that the white rose symbolizes purity, innocence, and new beginnings? The yellow rose, often associated with friendship, can also convey jealousy or separation depending on the context. The lily, often used in both weddings and funerals, is a symbol of purity and renewal. Lilies can also represent the Virgin Mary in Christian symbolism, and in the language of flowers, the calla lily symbolizes magnificent beauty. The violet is another flower rich in meaning. Often tied to modesty, faithfulness, and humility, the violet was a favorite of poets and lovers in the 19th century. Daisies, with their simple beauty, represent innocence and fresh beginnings. In contrast, chrysanthemums are often associated with death and remembrance in many cultures, particularly in Asia, where they represent the eternal and the impermanence of life. In the modern world, florography still plays a role in how we express ourselves. From weddings to funerals, flowers continue to speak volumes. But even beyond traditional ceremonies, flowers remain a popular gift, often given to mark birthdays, anniversaries, or celebrations of achievement. Today, while we may not consult a floral dictionary to select the right flower for the right occasion, the meanings behind these blooms remain ingrained in our collective consciousness. We may send a bouquet of roses to express our love or plant sunflowers to bring happiness and warmth into a room. The language of flowers may no longer be as formalized as it once was, but its ability to convey deep emotion through simple yet profound symbols endures. Whether we are sending a bouquet through a delivery service or using flower emojis in a text message, we continue to embrace the timeless power of nature's messages. So, the next time you receive a bouquet of flowers, take a moment to appreciate the silent messages they carry. From the love conveyed by a red rose to the remembrance evoked by a chrysanthemum, flowers have always spoken a language that transcends words. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the fascinating world of the language of flowers. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, flowers speak, we just need to listen.